Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Live for probably what is our first ever. In fact, it is. It is our first ever WWE review. And we're here to talk about what's possibly the best NXT TakeOver, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it, that I've seen in quite a long time, Aaron. So I'm going to go ahead, throw it to my guest, the one, the only, Aaron Southwick. Aaron, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm just, catching up on the matches right now. So if anyone watching this, if you see me looking off camera a lot, it'd be because I'm watching the final match right now of Gargano and Cole. I didn't have time to watch it last night, so I'm just catching up now.
Yeah, you were too busy playing Apex, you bitch.
Hey, man, it's a great game.
But Control Alt Defeat, good to see you. I know you said you were going to be here, and it's awesome that you are here. So, Aaron, let's go ahead. Let's jump right into the very first match of the night. And honestly, it was a great intro match. Like that's one of the best intro matches that I think I've seen at an NXT pay-per-view in a while. Because
yes, and NXT, I would say, honestly, does. If you talk about how takeovers run and you talk about how a wrestling pay-per-view should work, NXT always seems to get the night started right.
Yep.
They always get it popping real quick, and it's usually a tag match that they get it going with. And I would say that NXT probably has the best tag division in all of wrestling.
Yes. Oh, easily. Easily the best tag division. And we'll go ahead and we'll just talk about them. War Raiders, first of all, talk about the definition of you and I as a tag team.
Hey, man.
But number two, I love what War Raiders do. War Raiders bring just a very different brand of wrestling.
I'd say they mix fun and brutality in a way that no other tag team can.
Yeah. That's honestly, that's the best way to put it, is they bring both fun and they bring physicality to matches. Something that it really probably hasn't been done since Ascension did it back in NXT. Yes. Ascension back in NXT, they were really good at bringing that to matches. Yeah, those Viking dudes were insanely good. Mo, we love War Raiders, and the one thing I can't wait to see is when they get brought up to the main roster, what they will bring to the main roster. Because I don't think that WWE can screw them up. That's the one thing. You guys,
okay, well, you just cursed them, gave them the Sheeny curse.
You guys are going to quickly learn that we have very harsh WWE.
I would say a distaste for the main roster.
We have a very much so distaste for the main roster because it feels like we always get our favorite guys from NXT up, and then they do absolutely nothing with them, a.k.a. Tyler Breeze. Dude.
Finn Balor, even.
Finn Balor, Bailey.
Samoa Joe.
I mean, Sasha Banks.
Shinsuke Nakamura is my number one example.
Oh my God, dude. Asuka.
Shinsuke should have been a world champion the day he came up. I mean, maybe not the day he came up, but he deserves that respect of being a champion. And they just, I don't know. I get that there is an influx of talent when it comes to WWE because there's so many great wrestlers in the world right now.
Yep.
But at a certain point, it's like, why are you just overfilling your bucket? You can't carry all the water in the bucket, so you're just going to keep filling it.
Bobby Roode. Forgot about Bobby. I even forgot about Bobby Roode.
Dude, yeah, I completely forgot about it. And fucking American Alpha.
Yeah, Well,
Jason Jordan and Chad Gable.
Jason Jordan is dead, basically. I mean, he broke his neck, and I don't know.
Well, yeah, but that was after they had already broken them up and ruined the best tag team. One of the best tag teams that's ever come out of NXT.
Enzo and Cass.
Well, Enzo definitely raped that girl in Phoenix. We all saw it in Phoenix.
No, he did not. No, he did not.
He did it. He did it live on TV and broadcast it to everyone in Phoenix, and everyone in Phoenix saw it.
I don't think that's real, Aaron.
Dude, okay, this is completely off topic, but anyone watching this, go look up Enzo's rap. He put out a diss track about the girl who falsely accused him of rape, and it's called Phoenix.
Oh my God, dude! Oh,
it's so funny. Anyways,
well, let's get back to the topic at hand, the match. So, Aaron, what honestly, what was your favorite part about the match?
this is gonna sound weird, but that Ricochet and Aleister Black lost. For a moment there, I got scared that they were gonna win. And I'm like, I don't like them as a tag team. I hate that the main roster is using them as a tag team for no reason other than the fact that they have nothing else to do with them.
Yep.
I think WWE needs to take a page out of like
NXT's book.
I mean, well, no, not NXT's book. They need to take a page out of like a big corporation's book and trim the fat.
Yeah.
Get rid of about 30 to 40 people off of your roster. You know? There are so many guys that are doing nothing, that are sitting there stagnant, that just sit in the mid card and take up time. Like R-Truth, why is he here?
Yeah. I mean,
like,
other than the fact that he's just been there for forever.
Yeah, he's just a fun guy, and it's like I get that you respect him and everything, and he'll be probably a Hall of Famer one day just because of everything he's done for the company, but why on earth do you have so many people wrestling when you have arguably the greatest collection of talent in history for any wrestling organization in NXT that could carry your main roster? If you just put this show on live TV, I think it'd be the #1 wrestling show on TV. If you put NXT Weekly on.
Yep.
Imagine what NXT could do with 2 hours. What they do with 1 hour and compared to what Raw can't do with 3.
Yep.
It bothers me. And so when I saw that Ricochet and Aleister Black lost, it kind of made me happy because I think it's going to make it, or it's just leading to them not being a tag team anymore, and they're going to get main roster time as solos. Well, and I think that they're two of the most talented wrestlers we've ever seen.
Hey, Dan. Good to see you, man. And Aaron, I completely agree. Listen, the one thing that I fear the most, out of that, and I'll talk about my favorite moment in a second, is I fear that Aleister Black I think Aleister Black is going to come up and get a push, but I fear that Ricochet is going to come up and get thrown on to 205 Live. That's my biggest fear, is that Ricochet is going to get thrown on to 205 Live and just be left there to rot.
I don't think he will. Just based on the move he did
where he caught
where he caught Hansen was the most insane. I jumped out of my seat because how is he holding him?
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah,
that is.
I was terrified.
Man, that is a big man, and Ricochet probably is under 205 pounds. Let's be real about it.
Yeah,
he's probably under 205, and he caught him and didn't even flinch. It was like Braun Strowman catching somebody.
And then he suplexed him on top of it.
Yep. That was Aaron, what it reminded me is it reminded me of Neville level strength. The fact that Neville was able to do those German suplexes where he just picked the guy up off the mat and just German suplexed him by himself. I remember him doing that to Kevin Owens.
Yeah. And that's why I don't think he'll ever get stuck on 205 Live, because he has that type of strength where he can do those kinds of things. If you look at Seth Rollins, he weighs about the exact same as Ricochet. Yeah. Finn Balor technically could be on 205 Live.
Yeah, you're right.
I think 205 Live is mainly for guys who, and not necessarily are smaller. I just think it's for guys who can't really hang with guys outside of that.
Yeah.
Either physically, maybe on the mic, maybe they're just not as good at performers in general. They get put down there, but I don't know. There's a guy that they just signed that the first thing I thought is he's going to 205 Live because they've done it with everyone. And during this NXT event is when they announced that they had signed him, and that was Kushida.
Yeah, Kushida.
Which is one of the biggest signing. Dude, if you're a fan of New Japan wrestling, Kushida is where it's at, all day.
It's the biggest signing from Japan, at least since
Shinsuke.
Yeah. And Saban, good to see you, man. But my favorite moment from the match was actually believe it or not, it was after they had lost and knowing the respect that the NXT audience had for both of them. For both just what Aleister's done. And this is the thing too. This is where my fear of them coming up to the main roster is. And I actually thought they should have been left down for another year. I think that they should have spent another year in NXT and continued to build themselves. Because the one thing that Aleister Black and Ricochet struggle with is mic time. When they get on the mic, it's never very good. Now, Aleister is probably better overall than Ricochet, but I do worry about with them coming up to the main roster, that their wrestling won't be able to outshine what they can do on the mic.
I think that you say that, but then you have to realize there were guys like Dean Malenko and Lance Storm who terrible on the mic, were fantastic wrestlers. Rob Van Dam, terrible on the mic, fantastic wrestler. Rey Mysterio, terrible on the mic, fantastic wrestler. You can get carried by your wrestling, and the thing that I think WWE needs to take advantage of guys like that. Even guys like Rowan Hansen from War Raiders, they're not talkers.
Yeah.
How often do you hear them on the mic? Never. When there's a promo that they have to cut, they say, I think it's like a tweet for them, minimum 200 characters, what they have to say. You know? And that's how you keep it sometimes. Like for guys like that, like Aleister Black doesn't have to say anything. Ricochet, all he has to do is cut a one-liner, He just has to be a little like smartass sometimes and make a joke and get people to laugh, and he's the fun wrestler. But guys like Rowan Hansen, like I think that's where they're gonna shine, is where Authors of Pain couldn't on the main roster,
Because they actually can talk.
They can kind of talk. I mean, you gave Authors of Pain Paul Ellering, but but then they got rid of Paul Ellering immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
Like literally within 2 weeks.
Control Alt Defeat. I did love that moment. So he said that my favorite bit was at the beginning between Rowe and Black. Yeah, when they were both kind of trading like the fake like hitting each other. That was pretty cool.
I think probably one of the best moments was when it was against it was Rowe and Black, but it was when they came back in middle of the match and like they were selling the fact how hard this match had been, and they came in basically like just throwing elbows and shots at each other right in the middle and just started going at it, and then things picked up from there. Like that combination that Black and Ricochet had with the Black Mass and the Shooting Star Press was insane.
And that's where I do think they probably will wind up starting off as a tag team when they get to the main roster. But like they already have. But that's the thing too, is that and I know we're kind of not talking about the match at this point, but I didn't like them bringing up Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano and then Aleister Black and Ricochet like they did. Because I feel like it negates the effect of like if you were to bring those guys up after WrestleMania, I think that it would be amazing. I think it'd be amazing to have.
They could have plans though for them after WrestleMania, and so they wanted to get the crowd to understand who they are.
Get the acclimated thing. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So Dan Jones did say Aleister Black is hopefully gets a massive push. I'm a massive fan of him. Yes, same here. Same here.
I think anyone that watches NXT would feel the exact same, because it's like I said, NXT has the biggest culmination of talent. Like, the greatest wrestlers in the world are in NXT. Not on the main roster in WWE. They're in NXT, the best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
If you look at the main roster, it's just a circulation of guys. It's basically just Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose trading titles. And that's about it. And then you throw in a guy here and there like Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles or Kofi Kingston to like be like, yeah, other guys get a shot, but they don't get a shot. They don't get a shot.
You're not wrong.
Roman Reigns could die, and they would do a storyline where his ghost beats Brock Lesnar.
Probably. That sounds like an old school WWE storyline, doesn't it?
How great would that be as a storyline? I should be a writer.
So Mo did say when the big dude did the cartwheel off the ropes. Okay, that was pretty cool.
Well, and it's like I was saying, how they mix fun and brutality at the same time. Like Hansen can do all those moves that cruiserweights do, and it's hilarious to see.
Yeah.
Like when he got on the second rope and then he turned around because he was going to do a moonsault, and then he goes to the top rope and the crowd's losing their mind at every step. And he didn't do anything. They were just going insane. That's the effect that these guys have down there. It's awesome to see.
Oh,
it was probably one of the better tag matches we've seen in NXT.
It was. It really was. So then Control Alt Defeat and Dan are talking about Sanity right now, how they were ruined coming to the main roster.
Oh, yeah. They're basically all gone.
Yeah. Hi. I don't even know where they're at anymore.
Like what happened to Nikki Cross? Like she's just gone.
Yeah, like Nikki Cross was so good down in NXT. So good. She's somebody that probably should have won the women's title.
Well, but think about the women's division, how caked it is with people who aren't talented, like Alicia Fox.
Yep.
You have people up there like that are just taking space in storylines. Dana Brooke.
Yep.
Like, I'm literally just sitting here thinking, and it's just disgusting to me. Like the talent and I shouldn't even say talent, just the people taking up space on the main roster. Well, and for some reason, the WWE just won't cut them.
And then, then also it's WWE continuing to push I know it's gonna sound weird, but the big guys, and I'm not talking about like the big guys in terms of like the fact that they've got a big character already. I'm talking about literally the physically big guys, like people like Finn Balor and Seth Rollins haven't been around the WWE Championship for a while, and I do think that we're gonna do a bit of a watch along tomorrow with WrestleMania guys, but I think that you look at like what Seth Rollins has done recently. He hasn't been around the WWE Championship recently, and I feel like it's because they only push the people like Braun Strowman, like Brock Lesnar. I
think Seth he had a much needed break from the main title picture. You know, I mean, he's back in it right now.
Yeah,
he's facing Lesnar tomorrow.
Guys shouldn't always be in the title picture. I get what you mean by that, but. Like it has been a couple of years since Seth has been around the WWE Championship. It's been a while. Yeah. So, but Aaron, last but not least, let's give our grade for that match. I would probably give it a B+ overall.
I'd honestly give it an A, probably almost an A+. If it was just a real tag team going against them, I think it would have been better. But I'd give it an A, honestly.
So the reason why I'm only giving it a B+, and this is the only reason why, because overall the match was phenomenal. I just don't like the fact that I knew that War Raiders were gonna win it. There was no way that they weren't not gonna win it. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wish it was a real tag team.
Yeah, that it was a real tag team. And the problem is right now is that there aren't a lot of tag teams. I think what they're gonna do is I think Undisputed Era are coming up after WrestleMania because
they might.
Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish against them would have been phenomenal to see.
Yeah.
Like to actually get to see that match, like you said, they do have a large amount of tag teams, but
I think you're about to see the NXT division get gutted though after WrestleMania.
I do too. But
it's going to leave guys like Matt Riddle to shine.
Yeah. So the first match was an A+, no doubt. Said Mo. Yeah. Listen, I agree that overall it left me feeling with the A+ feel. It made me feel great, but at the end of the day, I knew that they weren't going to win. I knew that Ricochet and Aleister Black weren't going to win because they're going up to the main roster. So what would be the point of that? So that's it was just because it left out the anticipation of like, oh, either person could win. Just honestly like the Velveteen Dream, Matt Riddle, just like Walter and Pete Dunne, and just like Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano. I genuinely didn't know who was going to win those matches. It was genuinely only this match that left me with like, I don't know what's I just know what's gonna happen. Match itself was great, but like Andrew said, it was predictable. It was the first time watching, and I didn't know any of them. Mo, I'm really happy that was your first time watching NXT, and I really hope that you start watching it more because NXT is the best product WWE has, without question. Without question. So, Aaron, let's go ahead. Let's move on to the next match. We're going to move on to Velveteen Dream, the North American champion, against Matt Riddle. And, dude, Matt Riddle really, really surprised me with how great he was throughout the entire match. Like, that genuinely is probably, like, if it wasn't for the main event, that would probably have been my favorite match of the night.
I would say that it might not have been my favorite match of the night because it was very one-sided, but it showed how much charisma Velveteen has. It showed his ability to be a showman out there. And it showed Matt Riddle's ability to dominate somebody. Because that's who he is. He's a dominator, you know?
I mean, he's a former MMA guy. I mean, and you talk about dream matches. I would love to see Matt Riddle against Brock Lesnar at some point in time on the main roster.
I think it would be cool. Now I want to see him go against Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. Just keep again with a goal.
But I think that this match was probably my second favorite of the night. I'll get to my most favorite in a little bit, but all I could think about while watching it was how far Velveteen has come as a performer. From him debuting as Velveteen Dream, you could tell he wasn't really into it. And now he has just made it into this larger-than-life character where it's like that Ric Flair, almost like that Rick Rude type of guy. Where
good way to put it.
Yeah, you just see him and like he has like this aura about him, and your eyes are locked to him. It doesn't matter what's happening. And the thing about Velveteen that he's accomplished with this character, he's getting dominated that whole time, and I never felt like he was out of it once. Like,
you always felt like he was going to come back at some point in time.
Yeah, you knew at some point he could pull something off because that's what he does. That's what his character does. And I think it's almost like, I don't want to say like poetic, but if you think about the ascension that Velveteen had through the NXT roster, I think it's going to be very similar for Matt Riddle, where Velveteen had a few title matches in a row and didn't win them. And he was in the picture putting on match of the night candidates, which this is a match of the night candidate. Most people probably say it is the match of the night. But Matt Riddle is going to probably have a slower time getting to a title than most people do.
Oh my God, Aaron, this comment from Mo, he said, the Velveteen Dude and the Barefoot Tarzan was a good fight.
Yeah.
Oh, that got me pretty good.
Yeah.
Now I need Matt Riddle and Tarzan. I need that in my life.
No, dude. That'd be scary. But like, it's an incredible thing to see like what NXT does with a slow build for a character, which is how it should be done. It's how guys like Triple H came up, and that's who's running NXT. You come up with a slow development of your character, and it builds over time. And then you get to Raw, and they try to do it in 3 weeks to a pay-per-view. And then you lose, and then you're at the bottom of the barrel, and you're doing main event stuff, and you're not main event as in like the show main event, not the actual main event of Raw.
And
like it's just,
who doesn't love Velveteen? I mean, Dan, you're right on that. I don't know anybody that at this point doesn't love Velveteen. And Aaron, you remember me talking with you about this. I really liked Patrick Clark when he did. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on the name of the show, but
Tough Enough.
Tough Enough. When he did Tough Enough, I loved Patrick Clark. We both wanted ZZ to win, but we both loved Patrick Clark. We thought that he was going to be fine no matter what. But when when NXT signed him and turned him into this Velveteen Dream character, I was worried about it because it reminded me in a sense of Tyler Breeze and the character that Tyler Breeze had, because it's a very much so larger than life type of character. And Tyler Breeze did bring on that character very, very well. But I worried with Patrick being able to live that character. But he literally has brought this character to another level. And like you said, it's very reminiscent of a Ric Flair type character at this point that's just known as the Velveteen Dream. It is a fantastic character. And he's very much so an old school wrestler. He is a very old school wrestler. He doesn't do anything crazy fancy. He doesn't do anything that's overly hard. He doesn't do a lot of flips and tricks.
I mean, outside of that elbow drop, I think that's the only high flying move he has. And then he has the the cartwheel slam that he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is when you're as charismatic as he is, you don't need to do anything like that, you know? You don't need to be you don't need to be the guy flipping around off the ropes and stuff. I mean, his wrestling is super technical and very good. His ability to... I think one of the most underrated traits a wrestler can have is their ability to sell. And his ability to make it look like his opponent is beating the shit out of him is just incredible. You good?
No, sorry.
Something behind?
I saw something move, but it was me.
Portland Ghost?
Portland Ghost. Yeah. So Aaron, let me. They better not waste him like Tyler. No, Dan. I completely think that he will not be ruined like Tyler Breeze.
Yeah. I mean, I was on that Tyler Breeze train early, and I was so upset when I saw what happened to him on the main roster. Like, and I feel like this is going to be the theme of the night.
And
yeah,
he did a good job in that feud too.
Well, dude, his ability to take the Fashion Police to where it was. The Fashion Police is one of the greatest character tag teams I think I've seen in a very long time. It was so over with the crowd. Everyone loved the Fashion Police. They were selling more shirts than Brock Lesnar.
Well, more shirts than Brock Lesnar. In fairness.
No, the thing was the top selling shirt at the time was Brock Lesnar with the Suplex City shirt, wherever city they'd go to.
Oh, I gotcha.
And it would say Suplex City in the city, the name on the sign would be the city. And people were buying those more than any other shirt. And then when the Fashion Police got their shirt, it started out selling the Brock Lesnar shirt.
And the fact
that's how over they were. And then they had him lose the title, and then they had them basically break up and just had him do nothing.
Marcus, what's up, man? We were just talking about Brock Lesnar. I know he's your favorite. But so listen, Aaron, let's talk about favorite moment from the Matt Riddle and Patrick Clark match. Don't tell
anytime Velveteen started screaming when Matt Riddle would throw him around.
Dude,
his scream is so funny.
Legitimately, I can't pick out a moment from the match because every bit of the match was great. The one moment that did stand out to me is they did let Velveteen Hulk up. I did like that. It brought back some of that old school wrestling feel. For sure, Matt Riddle was kicking him. Those weren't fake kicks. Those were him legitimately kicking him, and he just was taking him, and legitimately it felt like he was hulking up as the game goes. Because that moment didn't stand out, but there genuinely wasn't a bad moment in this match for me. And what it did is it made Matt Riddle look very, very good going forward. And it also made Velveteen both look good because it showed he can literally just pop up at any moment and win a match. And two, it made him also at the same time look vulnerable for a rematch. That basically Matt Riddle let his guard down for a second. And that one point where he let his guard down, Velveteen.
Yeah, I mean, I like that finish too because it just shows that Velveteen is becoming a master of his craft, basically, of the art of wrestling.
Yeah.
Because, and this is this is why I make the comparison that he's like Ric Flair in a sense, because Ric Flair had so many matches where he got his ass beat.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd win like that at the end. He'd get a schoolboy pin or something like that, and people would hate it, but it's taking advantage of a singular moment and making it work. And Velveteen had that one moment to pin him, and he did it.
Yep.
It's just, I like that type of storytelling sometimes. I don't like when it's a cop-out for women's matches or things like that. But the way that match went for it to end that way, I think was really smart. Because it just shows how good Velveteen is. That he can get his ass beat like that for what was basically 20 minutes of getting kicked in the chest and face.
So Dan, we will be watching WrestleMania, and we're going to do a bit of a watch along for WrestleMania. I don't think we're going to do all 6 hours because that might be a little.
I'll do it. I stand for this. Let's do it.
I'll if you guys want, we'll be live with you for all 6 hours. If you guys will join us and talk with us about it, because we do love to talk wrestling. In case you can't tell, but. Only if you guys want it, because 6 hours to be live. That is,
and odds are we'll be just in Google Hangouts like this anyway, watching it because we usually watch it together. But he's in Portland like a stupid person.
Yeah, exactly. Oh shoot, Marcus said he'll watch WrestleMania with us.
God.
Okay, so Aaron, apparently
this is a commitment, boys.
Hours now.
This is a commitment, boys.
We committed. So
is this how I die?
So, Dan, are you asking about on the main roster or in NXT? Because if we're
What do you
talking,
ask?
they asked who's your favorite, and so main
okay.
for me, it's going to be Finn Balor. It's pretty much always going to be Finn Balor. I've seen from the instant that I watched him wrestle live, I loved him. And then my favorite NXT guy at the moment is Adam Cole. I love Adam Cole. But so main roster, it would be Finn Balor. So Aaron, who's your favorite main roster guy?
I don't have a favorite main roster guy. I have a favorite. My favorite's the Dash and Dawson tag team. I just like watching them work. I guess on the main roster, like if I had to pick a singular guy, it'd be Daniel Bryan. I've been a fan of him for a long time. I just love his wrestling. I love how talented he is. And so I guess I'd go with that. NXT, man, it's so many people. I would have to say that Velveteen's my favorite. And you could ask, Andrew didn't really get the character at first. And I'm like, no, just wait. Like, just wait. People are going to get this. And it just turned into what it is now. And it's been incredible to watch that ride. But if he was on NXT more often, not NXT UK, I'd say my favorite's Pete Dunne.
I do love Pete Dunne. I love me some Pete Dunne. So Mad Marcus, you asked what's the price of it. So Marcus, if you get the WWE Network, you could get it for free. You won't have to pay for WrestleMania.
If you don't, and even if you don't want WWE Network, you get the 7-day free trial, and then you just cancel it.
Oh, it's a 1 month free trial.
Yeah, 1 month free trial.
You get a 1 month free trial. So Marcus, you could watch WrestleMania for free if you get the WWE Network.
And we're not even getting paid by WWE to say this, but like all I'm gonna say is it's the best deal you can get, man. It's $10 a month, and you get every single thing WWE has ever done.
Checks in the mail, Aaron. Checks in the mail.
Yeah, where's my check, Vince?
Marcus. So do that. Control Alt Defeat. I'm sorry, man. It does suck for you guys over in the UK that it starts so late. Late. But so Marcus, it is $9.99 to continue to have it, but you literally get everything that WWE has done, as well as you get everything WCW has done, ECW has done.
And they're buying more promotions as we speak. Let me look up WWE Network right now.
Like there is a ton of stuff. Tell you what,
yeah.
Sell ice to an Eskimo. Yeah,
Hey man, I used to sell cars. What's up? That's basically selling ice to an Eskimo because everyone hates car salesmen.
So, Aaron, let's go ahead. Let's talk about what was your grade for the match.
A+. That was, and I'm not going to say A+, 100 out of 100. It's an A+. Like you missed one question on the test, and you got like a 97 out of 100. Because I would have liked to see more back and forth between Velveteen and Matt Riddle, but I would say it was like a 97 out of 100 because that match was just enthralling to watch. You know?
Oh, absolutely. It was 100% enthralling to watch. So for me, I'm going to give it an A+ as well. And I'm actually going to say it was a 99 out of 100. Because like you said, Aaron, I would have liked to have seen some more back and forth, but the story that they told of what a dominant person Matt Riddle is, and it really builds him up for the future, despite the fact that he did take a loss.
Yeah.
Like what they did, it really built him for the future. As a first-time watcher who doesn't know the characters B+. Yeah, Mo, you know what? That's
completely fair.
Yeah. So Matthew asked a question. He said, does someone have to be an annoying prick to sell cars, or does selling cars turn a personality into an annoying prick? Oh, so no, Aaron was definitely an annoying prick before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is true. It is true.
It would have helped if I had like a giant forehead, but you know.
I mean, you're not wrong. You aren't Matthew McFord-Hedian, which is
it is McFive-Hedian.
Like Five-Heady. Yeah, you get everything on there. It's great if you're a fan. I was watching WrestleMania 17 the other day, and it's all so we did. Dan, I'm not going to break down what's happened since WrestleMania 30. A lot has happened since WrestleMania 30, but for the most part, it's still all the same guys.
You know what? What we could do is we could get on like 20 minutes before and just kind of do a quick recap of the year so far in WWE. I could do it.
Roman Reigns got cancer. Braun,
and then he gave Cancer a Superman punch.
Yeah, he gave Cancer a Superman punch and a spear.
And then it turned out that Cancer the whole time was Brock Lesnar.
Boom! What up?
Took the mask off, and he's like, "Wait, you look like Cancer."
But
because he is.
So, Aaron, let's go ahead and let's move on to the next match of the night, which you have already told me is your favorite match of the night.
Yep.
To this point, which I know that you're watching the main event right now, but
yeah,
Walter and Pete Dunne. There's going to be a lot of people that probably won't like the match a lot because it was very much so a slow plot type of a match.
And this is what I think is important too. It's again how WWE or NXT knows how to set up a pay-per-view. You had an insane tag match to start it, and then you had probably one of the better matches of the night with Matt Riddle and Velveteen going high pace, high action almost the whole time. You got to slow it down.
Yep. You
got to give people a break to sit there and just listen to a Walter chop happen to someone and take the soul out of their body. Yeah. You got to give people a chance to just be quiet, sit there and watch a match like that, which I'm a fan of technical wrestling. I'm a fan of the joint manipulation that they show. I'm a fan of the tough, strong style that is very common in the UK wrestling. And so when I saw that Walter was coming, I'm like, and I knew immediately when Walter got signed, he was going to be facing Pete Dunne. And I got a semi, let's just say that, because it's one of those matches where you just know it's going to be a hard-hitting slugfest. And it was so technical and it was so good. And Pete Dunne is such an incredible performer. 685 days holding that title.
A long time.
Yeah. It's just incredible to see stuff like that. And I think Walter was the perfect guy to take it off of him because Walter can go do his thing in NXT UK. And I think Pete Dunne's going to be coming over to regular NXT to have a normal role.
Yeah, I agree. I'm watching because I heard Ray will be competing. Dan, yeah, so Rey Mysterio will be competing.
Yes. Probably won't be a good match, but he'll be there.
So, real quick, I will say this to control alt defeat and Dan Jones. So, Dean Ambrose isn't leaving. Dean Ambrose isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, it's a stick, dude.
It's a work. It's a work. He's not going anywhere. It's not happening. I'm just going to say
if he was actually going somewhere, they would have never announced that his contract had run out, basically.
Yeah,
and that he wasn't re-signing.
Rey Mysterio back. So Matthew said Rey back, yeah. So, but like you said, Aaron, the WWE has never announced before that somebody's contract is run out.
Except, again, for another work with CM Punk.
Yeah. It's just he's literally just not going for a title. That's all. He's
not getting a title, and so he said he's not going to resign. And it's okay, we'll just have you start after WrestleMania. You'll start your new program with someone.
Exactly. So, but if he does leave, he is absolutely off to AEW. It's not even a question.
I think a lot of performers from WWE would like to be there right now.
Do you guys watch TNA? So, Dan, I do not watch TNA. I do.
Yeah, I tried. I know Brian Cage has been there, who's one of Andrew's favorite wrestlers.
Yep.
I just can't get into it, man. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's like a worse version of main roster WWE.
Basically, yeah. I'm. So, Marcus, just so you know, I basically do live in Portland now. It is what it is. But in all seriousness, I'm just here through the weekend because I didn't want to fly home, be home for 36 hours, and have to turn around and go back. And I also wanted to be able to watch all of WrestleMania. So that's the reason why. I just didn't feel like being home for 36 hours. It just came down to that. So, and then let's see here. Dan did say I love Pete Dunne. Yeah, I do love me some Pete Dunne. Streams Doug, yeah, so I'm sorry that it has been a while since I've been live, guys. And I will not be doing a review of the Wolves game at this point. It made me sad. But Danny, yeah, hotel life right now. But luckily, I'll get to be home for a while after this. Rest before wife got it. So, Aaron, let's go ahead and let's move on to that match. Start talking about it. So, Pete Dunne holding the title for that long, it made it so I thought that Walter was going to win, but at the same time, they did sell me hard that it could go either way. Like,
and that's
Dunne was going to continue holding the title, that he was going to hold it for a very long time. I'm talking like the 1,000-day mark.
Like, it wouldn't have shocked me at all.
Like Pete Dunne, and I know I saw Mo say the finger submission thing doesn't do it for him. So the one thing that I like is it's something that's real. It's something that's real, like taking somebody's fingers and just getting the fuck out of them.
You can't sue me for this. Bend your own finger right now, and it hurts. Like, if you bend your own finger just to the side like that, it hurts. Yeah. And you just imagine if someone, and I get that it's wrestling, it's not real, but imagine if someone did take your fingers and just bend them like that. Either way, it's not going to feel good. I can tell you that. And it is an actual real technique. I mean, I was in varsity wrestling, and when you're getting down on the mat with someone, they do tell you, target their left two fingers and try to get control on their hand that way, because you grab these fingers, it's going to hurt like a son of a bitch, and they're not getting away from that.
Yeah. So Shiv, it's good to see a Wolves fan in here. I do like Wolves. It just they have pretty much owned Manchester United this year. So good on you guys. Good on.
I mean, everyone does, but
well, I mean, not everybody, obviously. Otherwise, we wouldn't be where we're at. But we're here talking about wrestling at the moment, Shiv. So we'll be doing some more football related content soon.
I want to bring up a meme I saw really quick. It was just funny.
Styles, Bobby Roode, Austin Aries all came from TNA. So Dan, here's the thing: we actually did used to watch TNA back when TNA was actually a big thing, and it was like you had Ric Flair there and Kurt Angle, and there was a lot of people there at one point. But as time has gone on, the product has gone downhill. And it just
I mean, if you consider that their best product that they've ever put out, let's say AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Roderick Strong, all in WWE.
Yep.
Those are their three best products.
And like, it does make me happy that I'm not seeing EC3 do anything, because like I told you, I think that EC3 is garbage.
I don't think he's garbage. I just think that it's one of those situations where his character worked on TNA because it was like a WWE character. But when he comes to WWE, he's just a character, you know?
Well, and so, Dan, I actually agree with you saying that TNA got worse when Ric Flair and Hogan got there. It did. So Samoa Joe was in TNA. TNA was once the shit, but you're right. And Shiv, you're absolutely right on that, man. It was good at one point. And I remember watching back when like AJ Styles was a kid, man. AJ Styles,
he had short hair, spiked up. He was in a tag team, I think.
Like,
it was incredible.
Yeah, just great times. But
and I remember like as young kids, like we used to think like TNA could overthrow WWE because it was so good like that, and the whole six-sided ring thing was a cool thing to see. And
anyone remember Abyss from TNA? Yeah, he is. I'm pretty sure he's still with TNA.
Who?
Abyss.
I can't. You're breaking up.
Abyss.
Abyss is still there. He's with that whole like creepy faction, like Rosemary and all those people, I think.
Yeah.
Abyss was one of those guys that would have worked on WWE too, and I know they tried getting him. I know WWE tried to get him.
Event Mafia, I hear you say. Yeah, it's a Shiv. You guys remember Aces and Eights? Of course we remember Aces and Eights.
Yeah.
I think they're still there too.
I know one of them came to WWE for a bit and then left.
Yeah, Storm. James Storm.
Yeah, James Storm. Yeah, he came to WWE for like a weekend.
One match. He was there for one match.
Yeah, and they made like a big deal. Like, we got James Storm. Look at this. He did one match. Then he's like, never mind. These guys are too good.
But so Aaron, go ahead and talk about, because this was one of your favorite matches. I'll let you go ahead and start talking about it.
I mean, I don't know if anyone else the first chop Walter did when he set Pete Dunne up on the ropes and just he heard it. It made me cough. Like, I'm not kidding. I doubled in and I coughed because I know how bad that hurts.
Dude, I texted you before the match started and I was like, I hate Walter. I just hate him.
Yeah.
Like, he's like he's an asshole in real life.
Well, you know that in wrestling circles, guys hate facing people like that because it's part of their character to chop you like that. But chopping is one of the few things where it's like it hurts like a son of a bitch and there's nothing you can do about it except just take it. And you know, if you're getting in a match with Walter, your chest is going to look like ground beef after. And that's exactly what Pete Dunne's chest looked like after. But I just love this match because it showed so much resiliency from both of them. It showed the dirty style of wrestling, like where there was that moment where Pete Dunne was stomping on his head, and then Walter grabbed him by the arm and started stomping into his chest from the ground.
Yep.
And then Pete Dunne again started stomping back into his head. And it, like, in every Pete Dunne match, you get moments like that where it's just, you can tell they're both kind of pissed at each other and they're hitting each other. And I just love those moments in Pete Dunne matches where, because that's just how he wrestles. He's a strong style wrestler. You learn that in the UK. I mean, it's just everything about that match I loved. It was, a lot of people don't like the slow pace. I just like the technicality of it. I like the wrist locks, the hand holds, the transitions, and things like that. That's where people like, you can't argue that wrestling's an art form. Like, it really is. That's the kind of stuff that the old guys that we all grew up loving, like Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair and Macho Man, they were the best at those types of things, was the transitions and holds and
chain wrestling.
Yeah, yeah, and then like you saw guys coming from the UK that were the best at it, like Finlay and William Regal and those guys. Like, it's just, it brings me back to a time, like, it makes me feel like I'm a kid again watching wrestling, you know, when I see wrestling like that.
It was definitely more of an old school type of match that it was. Yeah, you know, you're getting your good hard chops, you're getting your, you know, like good chain wrestling, good suplexes. Some good strikes.
But let's talk about how Pete Dunne then hit a double foot stomp onto his chest from the top rope to the ground.
Oh my God! Yeah, that was. I was going to say moment of the match was that. Like, I watched that. Yeah. Like, how are his ribs not broken?
Like, you see stuff like that, and you're like, "There's no way to make that not hurt," you know. And so when people use those arguments that, like, "Oh, wrestling is fake and no one gets hurt," you show them that match right there. And say, "Oh, it wouldn't hurt." Okay, watch this. Like,
and he legitimately landed on him too, because I was like, "Oh shit!" Like he landed right on his chest.
Yeah, I'd say my moment of the match though was that stomping moment where they were just stomping back into each other, and it was just animalistic almost to watch. Like, and I get, like, I sound like a big old wrestling nerd when I say that because it's still real to me. Damn it. But it's just awesome to watch moments like that in wrestling.
Yeah. So Dan, I can't wait to see Kofi against Daniel Bryan tomorrow either. That's going to be a good one. And then, so Matthew, James Storm, he at least recently he's been wearing a cowboy hat, got some facial hair, not a lot. It doesn't have like this. I would say probably more like Aaron's. And then he has some longer brown hair. And then James Storm,
he does still walk around with the cowbell, though, the rope and the cowbell.
But so Aaron, what would be your grade for Walter versus Pete Dunne?
99 out of 100. It wasn't the most perfect match. I would have done with maybe one more like high spot, something like that, like one more big moment in that match, because I feel like the one big moment was that chest stomp. But I would have done with one more big one. But 99 out of 100, I think it's one of the best matches I've seen in NXT. And if you're a fan of NXT, you know how many matches there are that I'm talking about, and I think it's one of the best ones I've seen.
So I will say this about the moments. We did get Walter from the top rope. That was That was a pretty big moment in and of itself.
See, yeah, I think it's just because I've been watching Walter for so long in the Indies, where to me that's like when I see Hanson do like the handspring or come off the top rope or dive through the ropes, I've been watching that for so long with him. But it's always fun to see, you know? Just the thing is, like, you never see a double foot stomp to the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You never see that.
No, you're not wrong on that. That was some pretty brutal
Yeah.
stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll be right back after you use the restroom. I'm sorry.
Yeah, not a problem. So Matthew, Eric Young is actually in WWE right now too. He's with the faction that the guys were talking about up there called Sanity. So he's still doing stuff. And then let's see here. So, but guys, so for me, Walter against Pete Dunne, it was a match that, because I really like the whole, just the whole of wrestling and what it does, what that match did is it made you like think back to like the simpler times of wrestling, and it was a lot of striking. It was a lot of old school type of wrestling, and I really liked it. Now it was a really good match. It wasn't my favorite overall match because we still have the main event to talk about. But for me, I would probably give it an A- because like I said, I didn't know which way the match was going to go ultimately. Like I believed it was either going to be that I thought Walter was going to win, but I thought that if Pete Dunne won, he was going to continue holding that title for the next year plus. So I really did like the match, but overall it would get an A- for me. Yeah, the hard-hitting technical wrestling. Yeah, Dan, you're absolutely right. Like it was just good, hard-hitting technical wrestling, something that a lot of people over in the UK really like. Do I play WWE 2K19? Dan, I do play 2K19. I've actually got it here with me in Portland. But Aaron, let's move on to the women's match. I'm not going to talk about it a lot because I actually really didn't like the match overall. Like the problem with Fatal 4-Ways is either it's gonna be really good because it's gonna be filled with really good spots and a lot of fun, or you're really not gonna enjoy it.
Yeah,
because it's gonna be overkill. And for this match, it was just overkill.
Yeah, I think what happens a lot in Fatal 4-Ways is it's just chaos for the sake of chaos. There's no real reason behind it. Fatal 4-Ways are basically like an art form when it comes down to it because you have to understand the flow of the match and what needs to happen when. And a lot of times it just devolves into what this was, and I think it was just, kind of just chaotic. There was no real reason for anything to be happening. And I had high hopes for this match because there was a few good storylines coming in.
Yeah.
With like Shayna Baszler trying to avenge herself, trying to do all that. And I think the Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, and Kairi Sane is probably my favorite female wrestler on the roster right now.
Yeah.
On the NXT roster. And I think that was a really good storyline to have going into this because they're best friends from Japan. And they're best friends in NXT. Like, it's a story that they've been working. And I think it's always cool to see when friends go at it when the title's on the line. It's like when you used to watch Shawn Michaels and Triple H go for it, you know? And so you know that they're friends. You know they're basically going at it as hard as they can because they respect each other. And also I think it was cool to see Shayna Baszler play like I thought Shayna Baszler probably had one of her best matches to date, but I think that's because she was working with Kairi Sane and Io Shirai, who are two of the most talented female wrestlers ever. And that's usually what tends to happen when a younger performer, or I shouldn't say young, she's not young in the sense of wrestling. Shayna is newer to wrestling. I think that happens a lot when someone gets in a match like that. It's almost like when Velveteen had to go against Aleister Black, his breakout match, you know? You get paired with someone like that and you work a lot better. And I think that's what happened with Shayna there. But the whole, I don't know if it's because, I don't know why I don't like Bianca Belair. She's super talented. It's just something about her. I don't know. I just don't like Bianca Belair.
it's her also still talking about the undefeated thing. So I like her character. I like she's got great strength. She's got actual great strength.
Yeah.
She's very talented, but it's like
I think it's one dimensional.
It's like there's just barely something
Yeah.
missing. And then Mo did say, "How did the hair whip chick lose?" Like honestly, I was thinking.
Well, that's the thing. It's the crafty.
Shayna.
It's the crafty champion, though.
I mean, yes,
she waited for her moment to strike. She let basically she let Shayna gas herself doing that double slam. And that was the storytelling, is that Shayna was going to be the smart champion here, not the brawler and bruiser that she has been.
Yeah, and I get what you mean, and like with Bianca Belair, I mean, just seeing that right there, that was amazing to see.
Yeah, she has incredible strength, and there's no doubt about that. But I think her character is so one dimensional at times, because she keeps just talking about, oh, I'm undefeated, and she does like the whole clap thing, and like I don't like it when WWE, like, it's almost stereotypical. She's a sassy black girl, like she does the clap, like undefeated. I'm like, all right, I get it, sister, like, do you? But I think the hair whip is what's going to take her to the next level if she starts using that more. Because I don't know if anyone had watched the previous TakeOver where Bianca Belair went against Shayna Baszler and almost beat her there, but she hair whipped her and literally cut her skin open with the hair whip.
I think she cut Kairi Sane's skin open. No, it wasn't. It was Io Shirai.
She may have, yeah. I mean, she hit Shayna Baszler on the ribs in one of those, and it was a deep cut. Like, and it's one of those crazy things you see in wrestling, that you see how tough these performers are. And you see how far they're willing to go to bring us entertainment. And I think it's always good to see that. And Shayna, maybe she's not everyone's favorite. She's not good on the mic at all. Her faction is terrible and stupid. Those two girls, what are their names? Marina and something? Jessamine. Yeah, they're both terrible. And I think they need to just get rid of them and let Shayna do what she was doing before that, because I thought her best work was coming when she was on her own, Like, just that, I don't know. That match was just not good. That's all I'm going to say. Like, it was good in the sense that it was entertaining. It just wasn't good when it came to evolving storylines and things like that. So I just want to get to my final grade on the match. I'd give it like a 83 out of 100. Give it like a B minus B, somewhere in there.
Well, you're being more generous than I would be, because I was going to give it a C. I felt like there really was, for it being what it was, you didn't get the spots that I thought that I was going to. I didn't get the spots I thought that I was going to. And like Bianca Belair did have the one spot, which that was spot of the match probably for me, where she picked up both of them.
Yeah.
That was pretty impressive. But overall, just the match left something to be desired, and I think it would have been better off just being a one-on-one match. That's my personal opinion. I think it would have just been better off being if you had just done a one-on-one or even just a triple threat.
Well, the thing is there are so many types of matches you could do that are so much better. You know what I mean? Like, they could have even done a gauntlet match and had Shayna face each one of them that night, Done something crazy like that. Or had, like, even a triple threat would have been fine with me. Like, just have it be Kairi and Io and Shayna Baszler. And just leave Bianca Belair to step in after, because she's going to get a solos match now. Like, she's going to get a singles match with Shayna again. And that's probably where she's going to win it. Probably at this upcoming NXT is where I would assume that Shayna's going to lose the title to Bianca.
Yeah, probably.
But it's just one of those types of things for me where less is more, And I'm not shitting on women's wrestling at all, because when you've watched wrestling for as long as Andrew and I have, we've seen the lowest of the lows with women's wrestling, where it was literally a 2-minute match where they would come out and just catfight and pull each other's hair, and then someone would just get pinned. We've seen matches where it was strip matches where you had to get your opponent into their bra and panties.
The bra and panties match. Everybody's going to know about that.
Yeah. And it's just, you see how far it's come, and the fact that I can even shit on the match the way I am right now is pretty incredible to me, because it just shows how far they come in the expectation that I have. Because I know what these women are capable of, and that just wasn't it. I know that the match tomorrow, the Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky, is probably going to be one of my favorite matches of the night. It's just, when it comes to NXT, I think that they're trying to play catch up sometimes with the women's division now, because it got gutted. Like, every good woman they have gets taken from them, and they can't do anything about it.
And like Dan just said, women's wrestling actually means something now. And
yeah, it's right. Well, the thing is, you can actually call it women's wrestling.
Yeah,
that's what I think. You can actually call it women's wrestling.
It wasn't like just the Divas division. It wasn't. It was no longer that. It's actual women's wrestling. Yeah. Listen, I want you to understand this, because we both think that Bianca Belair has a future. Because Mo did say, I like the hair whip girl. I think that Bianca Belair has a future. Just, I want her character to evolve a little bit more. I want to. She is, in fairness, she is still pretty new. It's taken Velveteen Dream 2 years, 3 years to fully develop this Velveteen Dream character into what it is.
She just needs an opponent, I believe, that isn't Shayna, because Shayna is also new, and I think the best work comes when, it's like I said, Aleister Black has been a professional doing this character basically for 17 years. Yeah, it was known as Tommy End before he came here.
Yeah.
But he's one of the greatest wrestlers he's in the top 50 of all time, I'd put him. When it comes to just wrestlers of all time, he's up there. And so Velveteen, the reason he had that breakout was because he was going against someone who knew how a match is supposed to go. Bianca's new and Shayna's new. And so they're going based off of, it's basically just raw talent when they have a match. There's no thinking about it. There's no nuances in their matches. There's nothing that helps them evolve a character throughout a match. When you watch, when I just watched Gargano and Adam Cole, they were telling a story to us throughout that match.
Yep.
You could see it in their face. You could see it in what they were saying to each other. And I'm sitting here, I had it on mute, and I was still getting goosebumps watching it. And when I watched Shayna and Bianca Belair, it wasn't that it wasn't a good match. It just doesn't make you feel anything. You just watch it, you go, yeah, I guess it's a good match. It's technically good, but I'm not getting anything out of it.
And it's funny, because I actually feel like at this point, Bianca Belair is probably a better wrestler than Shayna is, and she's been doing it for less time, because she can actually tell a story, whereas Shayna, coming from that MMA background, has a little bit of a time telling that story. She's Shayna isn't able to do what Matt Riddle has been doing. But it's also because Shayna got brought right into the WWE, and they threw her into the fire.
You think about it like this. Shayna's been in the WWE for less time than name almost any rookie in NXT.
Yeah.
That we're going to be seeing coming up. There are guys that haven't even debuted yet that have been with NXT for 4 years right now, and Shayna's been here for I think a year and a half.
Basically.
2 years. And she came with zero wrestling experience and almost won the title in that Mae Young Classic. And that, hey, another thing you get with WWE Network, the Mae Young Classic, you can watch the evolution of Shayna Baszler, because she was terrible.
She was pretty bad.
She came in with basically just, she'd hit you a few times and put you in a sleeper hold, and that was about it. And now she's able to do these types of matches where she is the champion. You can arguably say that she's one of the best women in NXT. It's just, I think that for their characters to evolve, I think the best match Shayna had was against Kairi Sane. Their last match that they had. It's because Kairi's been wrestling for, I think, 12 years. You just get veterans like that know what they're doing, and you can see it changes a match,
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, so people are bringing up when we were talking about the Divas division, the likes of Cameron and Eva Marie, Tori Wilson. Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh,
baby.
Peak of
Stacy Keibler. Oh God,
peak of women's wrestling right there. Peak.
dude! I remember one time they had a wrestling match inside of a kiddie pool full of pudding.
Yep. Yep.
I was 8 years old, and my life changed that day. I didn't like Hot Wheels anymore.
So, Aaron, let's go ahead and let's move on. We've talked about the match. Let's move on to what was my match of the night. Easily, it's got like I'm giving you my grade early. It's an A+. It's 100 out of 100. I loved everything about it. Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano, 2 out of 3 falls match. I mean, go ahead, give me your initial thoughts on it, man.
I mean, I watched live. I'm sure a lot of people saw me making some weird facial expressions as I'm watching what happened, because it's what you come to expect out of 2 of the greatest wrestlers that we're ever going to see in Gargano and Adam Cole. And Adam Cole, I think, fills everyone's Shawn Michaels fetish in a way that like nothing else can. And Gargano is just, I don't even know how to. This is what I like about Gargano, is I can't say he reminds me of anyone. He's just Johnny Gargano to me.
Yeah,
you know, like he's so 100% him, and I think that's what I love the most about him. When you watch him wrestle, it's just such a different experience than watching anyone else.
Yeah,
and every match he puts on, you could give him 10 minutes to work, you can give him an hour to work, and he'll put on the like just as good of a match. Doesn't matter. And so that's why I'm not worried about him when he goes to the main roster eventually. That's why I'm not worried about Adam Cole when he goes, because these guys have the charisma that
Aaron,
no one else really has.
I forgot we said his name wrong. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry. We have to end the stream now, guys. I'm sorry. We said his name wrong because it is Adam Cole, baby. Get it right.
There it is.
Damn it.
There it is. There it is. This is okay. This is what I deal with everyone. I grew up with that. I want everyone to understand that.
And you're younger.
God, I hate my life.
Sorry, it's Adam Cole, baby. Give me some more.
I lost my train of thought now.
So you're talking about that Johnny Gargano doesn't remind you of anybody?
Yeah. And that's why I think when I'm watching them, I'm not worried about them going to the main roster at all. At all. Like, I think that they're going to be just fine. They're going to take over. And it's going to be an incredible thing to watch, because you think about the story. Like, before we had started this stream, Andrew and I were talking. Andrew was saying how he thinks this is the best match he's seen Johnny Gargano put on in NXT. And the thing I said about Gargano is, if you watch every single TakeOver match he's had, you go from number 1 to this one, you just go, oh, that's the best match I've seen in NXT. And then you go to the next one, no, that's the best match I've seen. And then you go to the next one, that's the best match I've seen. And that's what Gargano does, is he takes you on such a ride and then such a story that you come out of it feeling like, okay, yeah, that's the best I've ever seen right there. That's the best match I could ever see in NXT. And my favorite match is still the one, the match he had with Tommaso Ciampa. The
hardcore one?
The hardcore one. I can't remember what the unsanctioned match that they had.
Unsanctioned?
Yeah, that's probably my favorite match I've seen. Probably in all of NXT, that's probably my favorite match I've seen. And this one, I wouldn't say lacked anything at all. I would just give it a 96, 95 out of 100. Like, still an A+, but I think the one thing that bothered me is, and I know it's part of the whole character with Adam Cole, but it was the Undisputed Era coming out. And it's because I wanted this to be like, almost in a sense, like Adam Cole in the back told his boys, this is my match, Like, don't come get involved in this. This is between us. Like, I just get, it's a little, I knew they were going to come out at some point. I think that's the one thing that bothered me, is I knew they were going to come out.
It's a 2 out of 3 falls match. It's going to happen when it's in a stable.
Exactly. And that's why I'm saying I get that. I just wish it would have been one of those things. Like, when you used to watch DX back in the days, back when they had X-Pac and those guys, it wasn't always like they weren't always getting involved. Like you'd see in the back, like Triple H would tell them, like, you're not getting involved in this. Like, this is my match, you know?
Believe it or not, Aaron, this is the reason why I gave it 100 out of 100 is because I think that it actually added to the story. And this is the reason why. When you go through and you think about the Johnny Gargano matches that he went up against Tommaso Ciampa, I mean, God, they've had like 4 or 5 times where they've gone up against each other to TakeOver. You think back to all those matches, and this is what happens, is that Johnny will always do something in the match that winds up costing him the match. Always does it.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure that when, like, he had Adam Cole outside the ring, he threw him back in, and then the rest of Undisputed Era were out there and already down. And instead of going in and going after Adam Cole and trying to take him out, he instead went and took out Undisputed Era even more, did his little spots, got back in the ring, and then the instant that Adam Cole jumped on him, I was like, all right. So that was the story of it, is that Johnny Gargano continues to do just that one little thing that stops him from winning.
Yeah.
And kicked out. And I lost my shit. Like,
yeah.
I was like, what just happened? Like, because I thought for sure that was the story. And I actually really would have liked that too, if that had been the story, because it would have continued the story further down the line. It would eventually probably have led to a cage match or something like that. But by having them get involved, Johnny's still going after them, then kicking out of Adam Cole, just kicking the shit out of his head. And just by doing that, it added to Johnny Gargano's character.
I'd also like to point out that Adam Cole hit him with a Canadian Destroyer, which is a banned move in WWE.
Twice.
Yeah. Like, it's incredible. I think it's awesome to see WWE relaxing on their rules, understanding that these guys are the best of the best. And I think we're going to see a lot more freedom in movesets coming forward, because I know everyone's seen Seth Rollins bring back the curb stomp recently.
Mm-hmm.
And Canadian Destroyer was a move that was literally like banned in some states in the Midwest, that you can't hit it because people would hurt their necks so often.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's cool when I see these top tier performers hitting moves like that, because it just shows me that WWE understands who these guys are and that they can trust them with a move like that. And that they're not going to hurt each other with it.
So Control Defeat. So I get why you would say you're expecting Ciampa to attack Gargano, but because it was already announced that he had the neck injury, I knew that they were going to be doing the whole kayfabe thing, where they came back and just were like, you know what, you just congratulate him.
And that's the thing. You couldn't risk having Tommaso do something like that where it would actually physically exert him, because if he messed anything up, then he's out for even longer than he's supposed to be. And I like when they break kayfabe like that, and when they show like their friends outside of it. What's up?
There's a couple of puppies that are walking on the road out here.
Oh my god! Do you want to show the people?
No, I'm not going to show the people because it would require way too much work.
Okay.
So Matthew did, so he was bringing up Undertaker's weird submission finisher that got banned, the Hell's Gate.
Yeah. The only reason it got banned was there wasn't I shouldn't say character, there was a guy that also worked in WWE, and he also worked in the Indies. He was basically like he did dark matches at house shows that no one would ever see, and he used that submission and broke a guy's trachea.
Oh, that's good.
Because that submission, I don't know if you remember it, Undertaker would put his shin on the guy's throat and pull down. And it's like you see a lot of these submissions, they're not actually pulling. And the Undertaker was the best at that, where he knew how to angle it. So basically he was pressing guys' throats into the calf meat and not the bone. Well, the guy pressed it into the bone and broke a dude's trachea. And the guy had to go to the hospital and get surgery, so they just banned it.
Mm-hmm.
And they just used it in a storyline. They had Undertaker use it, and it like everyone would always spit up blood, but then there was one where like the guy, like they said, stopped breathing, I think.
Oh my god!
and they like rushed him into the back. Like that was the storyline. They're like, you can't use that anymore. And like my whole thing was, I'm like, well, he's a demon, so
You can't tell him what
what?
to do.
That
That's a big yikes for me.
that was always my thing with Undertaker. I'm like, how do you tell him what to do?
Uh,
He's dead.
and also, if I have no idea if Ciampa will be wrestle again, though. Wasn't it the same injuries?
He will.
It is the same injury as Edges. It is the same injury, but
Ciampa will wrestle again, though. He's said he would.
I mean, we will see because you never know what can happen. He might not wrestle again in the WWE. That'd be the best thing to say.
It was the same injury Edge had, but Edge's was much worse in the sense that he had never treated it.
Mm.
Edge, when he heard it, he had made the mistake that I think a lot of wrestlers make, where he left it untreated, thinking that he can rehab it or that he'll be fine if he just works it out. And it was the way Edge would hit his spear. Every time he did it, he just caused a little bit more damage and more damage and more damage to the point where he physically like just couldn't go anymore.
Yep.
And he had to have surgery, and they were just like, it's so deteriorated, like the bones were falling apart in his neck, like his vertebrae. And they're like, dude, you can't do this anymore. Sorry. Like, and Ciampa got it treated immediately, so that's why I think he will be able to come back. And I don't know if anyone follows him on Twitter, but he did post that basically congratulating Johnny Gargano, saying like he's proud of his brother, and then he goes, there's only one true champion, and then he put the black heart next to it. Basically setting up like, I'm coming back for my title.
Mm. So Control Defeat did say that he thinks that WWE could do with like a character like Edge or CM Punk right now, which WWE could always do with a character like that. And
Yeah.
he said watching a video of Sin Cara's fails reminds me of Eric Bailly. Pretty fun, but just full of stupid mistakes and injuries. Laughable. Or Phil Jones.
Yeah, that fucking Phil Jones face.
So, Aaron, what was your spot of the match for this?
There's like 10 of them.
I know, right?
Like, I can't really pick one. There was moments like, there was a few times where they super kicked each other at the same exact time. There was all the hard super kicks that kept getting hit. There was the Canadian destroyers. There was the moves off the top rope, the moves on the outside. Like, I can't really pick a moment. I can't pick like a move, but I'd say like my favorite moment probably came after the match when Candice LeRae came down with Johnny. That just made me happy to see. Well, I'm just going to go with that because I don't want to single out anything in the match because it was perfect.
I want to see more of Candice LeRae, by the way. That's somebody we need to see more of.
Yeah.
But so for me, Aaron, my moment of the match was when, like, and I talked about it, when Johnny was doing what standard Johnny wrestling does and trying to take out everybody, trying to do everything, and ultimately wanting
to be the hero.
Be the hero, be Johnny wrestling. When he kicked out, I like, and you saw it in the crowd too. The crowd lost like that. That's probably the biggest pop I've heard for something since the Stone Cold days. Like, you didn't get genuine reactions to stuff like when Stone Cold that glass broke. You knew that the crowd was going to go crazy. When the crowd literally erupted when Johnny Gargano kicked out. And then when he finally did win, I was just in complete shock because I was like, I thought for sure it was going to continue to go on. I thought that Adam Cole was going to kick out, and I thought that the match was going to go on. But Johnny Gargano winning this match honestly leaves me with a question mark going forward, and I think that's the best part about it, because I don't know if we're going to get Adam Cole coming up to the main roster with the rest of Undisputed Era. I don't know if we're going to get, Matt Riddle now to maybe come up and try and go against Johnny Gargano. I don't know what's going to happen because we're about to see a bit of a clear out.
There's a plethora of talent waiting, though. I will say that. There
is a plethora of talent. But we're at the point right now where we're going to see. It was kind of like when you had that mass exodus when Finn Balor came up to the main roster.
Yeah, it was like when Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and basically they took everyone. Tyler Breeze, even they took what's his name? The guy that broke his neck that was in the tag team was Cesaro.
Ollie's at the wheel chant at WrestleMania tomorrow. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets backing. So Hideo Itami. Oh yeah, don't get me started on Hideo.
Yeah, Hideo Itami was part of that call up. And so you're gonna see. I think you're gonna see a call up like that. You're gonna see guys leave. Like the whole Undisputed Era, I think, is gone. They're all going up. I think that you're gonna see what's his name on the main. You're obviously gonna see Aleister Black and Ricochet on the main roster. I think you're gonna see Kairi Sane make her move up.
Maybe I could see it.
Well, she doesn't have anything else to do in NXT. Like she's done it all. She's been a champion. She's been in great matches. Not much more for her to do. I think that you're going to see.
She's not going to get used on the roster. I could just tell right now.
She won't. She's not going to get used. Like they're going to make it way too weird because her pirate character, she doesn't do anything piratey. She just like cosplays as a pirate. That's like her whole thing.
Yeah.
But they're going to make it like super weird and like too literal. But I've been wrong in the past, or not wrong, but there's been characters in NXT that haven't worked that work in the main roster, like with Elias. I remember I always said that when Elias was in NXT, everyone hated him. I'm like, on the main roster, this character works. And I mean, you heard that pop he got at Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Elias. And it's always surprising when guys come up like that you don't think the character is going to work, and then it does, you know? And so I think that that's where we have to just keep an eye out after WrestleMania. The Raw after Mania is always the biggest Raw. And so if you do have the opportunity in the UK or wherever you're at, watch on Monday night, because that will further every single storyline that you saw happen at WrestleMania.
Yeah. No, 100%.
And you're going to see debuts as well.
The debuts are the thing I'm most looking forward to for both shows, because like I said, I think we could see Undisputed Era come up and be a brand new Shield.
Yeah, we've said that about Sanity. We said that about a lot of things.
I didn't say it about Sanity, in fairness. I really believe that Undisputed Era has the talent with Roderick Strong, with Bobby Fish, with Kyle O'Reilly, and with Adam Cole leading it, being like you said, it gives everybody their Shawn Michaels fetish, but him leading that Adam Cole's the one guy inside of that faction I'm not worried about. Vince is going to see him come up to the main roster. He's like, oh my God, Shawn, did you just get like 30 years younger, man? What the hell? And he's just going to throw in every main event. I'm not worried about Adam Cole at all. It's the rest of Undisputed Era I'm worried about, especially considering the fact that none of them had matches. So, Dan Jones to say I love Elias now. But so, Aaron, and what I know you gave me your grade, but I mean, do you want to give it again? Just make sure people hear it.
96 out of 100.
96 out of 100, and I'm 100 out of 100. That is my favorite Johnny Gargano match to this point, and it's possibly my favorite NXT match to this point. The fact that the story that they told in that match was so good. Like literally they did everything to make you bite both ways. Yeah,
and that's why 2 out of 3 falls match is a great idea too.
Yeah. AJ Styles, big time, and Finn Balor at the same time. I hope they don't do that with Undisputed Era. Yeah, Control Defeat. Yeah, I hope that they do not waste Undisputed Era. I think they could be a fun faction. I love their characters that they put on. They're a fun faction. But so Aaron, I mean that's it. That's it for NXT. I mean, anything else you want to say?
No, I think we covered all of it basically. I mean, get WWE Network and Vince McMahon will pay me.
Yes. Everybody get WWE Network. We get royalties. But in all seriousness, guys, we are going to officially be doing. We've had enough interest. We'll be here live with you for 6 hours tomorrow. 6 hours to do a full WrestleMania watch along.
You might get to watch my eyes bleed and I cry a lot, so there's that.
So 14 matches tomorrow, Aaron. Are you excited?
No.
No. So, guys, just genuinely, Aaron, thank you for joining me, man. Twitter, what's your Twitter?
AA Gumdrops. Go ahead and follow me there. I don't tweet a lot right now. It's a lot of Liverpool stuff. Sometimes it gets retweeted. I'm sorry, but we're better than you, so accept that.
For one more year. We'll see next year.
All right.
It's going to be
when you're in the Europa League.
Dan Jones said it's going to be insane and tiring, but I'm sure for sure there. Marcus, thank you for the compliment, but genuine, thank you everybody for joining us. I mean, we covered 84 minutes of WWE NXT. I think we're going to start doing reviews of these more often because we do love our NXT. We do love our NXT. That is for sure. So just genuinely thank you everybody for joining us, and I really do hope that you all have a great night, a great day, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. Keep doing you, because I love you guys. Aaron loves you guys, and you guys. Catch you later.